Have you ever sat at your desk for 5 hours straight, highlighted half the textbook, and thought, I really put in the work today? Then on the exam, you look at a question and realize your mind is blank, zero, vacuum, like those 5 hours weren't spent studying, but in a coma. Sound familiar? Congratulations, you're in the company of 90% of students who study with about the same effectiveness as trying to get abs by just looking at photos of athletes. Here's the thing. Most people are convinced they're studying correctly. They sit in the library until closing, fill notebooks like maniacs, proudly report to friends, I studied 8 hours today. The result? Knowledge evaporates faster than money from your paycheck in the first week of the month. Exams turn into a lottery where your main hope is, maybe I'll get lucky with easy questions. Real learning isn't a marathon of sitting at your desk. It's smart brain work. And the good news? It's easier than it seems. I've gone through all the research for you and found 6 scientifically proven methods that actually work. Forget cramming until morning and highlighting everything. Here's what will actually make your brain remember. Method 1. The Pareto 20-80 rule. Stop learning garbage. Here's the brutal truth about studying. 80% of what you're cramming is absolutely useless for the exam. While you're heroically memorizing what year Napoleon's grandmother was born, the exam will ask about his military reforms. You're spending tons of time on details that no one will ever test. This is called the Pareto principle. 20% of your effort gives 80% of the results. The other 80% of effort? It gives you the illusion of productivity and a beautifully decorated textbook in all colors of the rainbow. Looks impressive. Benefit? Zero. What does a typical perfectionist student do? Reads the textbook from first to last page, memorizes every footnote, knows the biographies of all mentioned scientists, but has no clue which topics are actually important for the exam. It's like preparing for a date by studying the entire history of the perfume industry instead of just taking a shower and putting on a clean shirt. Smart students do it differently. They go to the professor and ask directly what exactly will be on the exam, which topics are most important. Then focus only on that. Brutal? Maybe. Effective? Absolutely. What to do? Stop being a collector of useless information. Find your 20%, topics that give maximum points, questions that will definitely be on the exam, and become an expert in them. The rest? Later, if there's time. Study smarter, not longer. Method 2. 30-minute timer. Turn your brain into a racing car. Here's a psychological paradox that will change your studying. Give yourself a whole day for a task, you'll waste time until evening. Set a timer for 30 minutes, suddenly you become an academic champion, flying through material at crazy speed. Why does this work? Your brain is a cunning manipulator. When there's lots of time, it relaxes. Oh, whole day ahead. Can check Instagram, think about the meaning of life, rewatch some memes. But when the timer starts, it panics. Damn, only 30 minutes, need to go full throttle. Artificial urgency triggers emergency concentration mode. Instead of sluggish chewing of information, laser focus activates. No philosophical musings, no distractions from the cat outside the window, just pure work. And after 30 minutes, you get a well-deserved 5-minute break. You can calmly scroll social media without guilt. This isn't procrastination, it's scientifically justified break. What to do? Use the Pomodoro technique. 30 minutes of intense work, 5-minute break. Repeat 4 times, then a big break for 15 to 30 minutes. Your brain under time pressure works many times better than with endless, I'll study until I'm tired. Method 3. The Feynman Technique. Explain it to a 5-year-old. Albert Einstein said, if you can't explain it in simple words, you really don't understand it yourself. This is a killer check of your knowledge. Most A students are just well-trained parrots. They can quote the textbook by heart, but can't explain the essence in their own words. Imagine this scene. You crammed quantum mechanics for 3 hours, feel like the next Stephen Hawking. Now try explaining Heisenberg's uncertainty principle to your grandmother or 5-year-old nephew. Well, it's when particles, basically it's complicated. Congratulations, you just failed Einstein's test. The Feynman technique works like a lie detector for knowledge. Can you juggle smart terms? Great, but that's not understanding yet.
Real understanding is when you explain a complex topic through simple analogies, life examples, in plain language. And here's the magic. While you're trying to translate complex into simple, your brain finally starts truly understanding the material, not just memorizing words, but grasping logic, connections, essence. What to do? After studying a topic, try explaining it out loud. You can do it to yourself, a rubber duck, or record on camera. Use only simple words, no terms. If you get stuck, you found a gap in understanding. Go back to the textbook, figure it out, try again.
Method 4. Active recall. Close the book and remember. Your brain is a great actor and pathological liar. When you read the textbook for the 5th time, it cheerfully nods, yeah, all familiar, I remember this. But on the exam, it suddenly switches to complete amnesia mode and pretends it's seeing the information for the first time in its life. You've been fooled by the illusion of knowledge, your brain scammer's favorite trick. Here's the catch. Recognition and recall are two completely different processes. When you read photosynthesis occurs in chloroplasts, the brain says, oh, I've heard this somewhere, so I know it. But try closing the book and reproducing the information. Suddenly there's emptiness in your head, like an open space. Active recall is a strict examiner for your brain. No hints, no, right, I remember. Only harsh reality. Either you know or you don't. And here's what's surprising. Such regular interrogations make the brain actually remember information, not just pretend. What to do? After reading a chapter, close the textbook. Take a clean sheet and write down everything you remember. Facts, formulas, concepts, no peeking. Then open the textbook and check what you forgot. These gaps are your weak spots. Repeat them and check again. This is twice as effective as just rereading material. Method 5. Sleep and movement. The brain works not only at the desk. Here's shocking news. While you sleep, your brain turns into an elite nightclub, but instead of dancing, there's a VIP party of your memories. Information gets sorted, important stuff goes to long-term memory, garbage gets deleted. Your brain literally rewrites data from RAM to hard drive. Now imagine a genius who decided not to sleep all night before the exam and cram until morning. It's like shutting down the club in the middle of the party. All your efforts during the day simply evaporate because the brain didn't have time to process and save the information. You studied, but forgot to save. But wait, it gets even more interesting. Even a banal 10-minute walk works as a turbo booster for memory. Why? Movement speeds up blood flow, which delivers oxygen to the brain. It's like a processor upgrade in real time. And you sit at your desk for 6 hours straight, suffocating your neurons with oxygen deprivation and wonder why you think like a sleepy fly. What to do? Sleep at least 7 to 8 hours, especially before exams. Every hour or hour and a half of studying, take a short walk or at least do squats. The brain remembers better when the body moves. The most effective exam preparation isn't night cramming, but full sleep and physical activity. Sounds like an excuse, but it's pure science. Method 6. Brain dump technique. Shake everything from your head onto paper. Meet the most brutal knowledge testing method, the brain dump technique. Sounds disgusting? Perfect, because the process is genuinely unpleasant, which means memorable. The principle is simple to the point of impossibility. Read a chapter, close the textbook, and go. Dump everything you remember onto paper. No peeking, no, oh, what was that about mitochondria? Just shake out the contents of your head like a bag of apples. Most students panic at this moment, but I don't remember anything. I only wrote 2 sentences. Excellent. Here it is, the truth about your knowledge. And what you thought that you remember everything after reading was a beautiful illusion kindly created by your brain liar. The most sadistic thing about this method is when you then open the textbook and see how much you forgot. But these very gaps turn into superglue for memory. The brain tells itself, damn, screwed up again, need to remember better. Result, information gets etched into memory so deeply that you can't dig it out later. What to do? After each study session, take a clean sheet, set 10 minutes, write everything you remember about the topic, chaotically, as it comes to mind. Then compare with the textbook, find gaps, repeat specifically those. Do the same the next day.
Repetition with checking works many times better than endless rereading. Summary: how to study effectively. 80-20 rule. Focus on 20% of material that gives 80% results. Ask your teacher what will definitely be on the exam. 30-minute sprints. Use a timer. Short, intensive sessions are more effective than long, sluggish sitting. Feynman Technique. Explain complex in simple words. If you can't explain to a 5-year-old, you didn't understand it yourself. Active recall. Close the textbook and remember. Testing yourself works better than rereading. Sleep and movement. Brain saves information during sleep. Physical activity improves memory. Don't neglect this. Brain dump technique. Write everything you remember without peeking. Gaps show what to study further. Main principle: study smarter, not longer. It's not about duration, it's about quality of brain work. Stop cramming and start understanding. Subscribe to learn more effective learning methods without burnout and cramming until morning.